Now, can you please let me know about the audio? Is it audible, friends? Okay, that's wonderful. You confirmed, Pravina ji. That's wonderful. If audio is clear, then we can go ahead. I'm happy, friends, about this particular session that we are going to have. Every day, we are improving using this technology. Day by day, we are learning to make use of this technology in much more wonderful way. So today also, we are going to have this particular topic that I'm offering. Die before you die. Death is not a full stop. That's our topic. So all every day is for us in India and across the globe in all countries. It's really an interesting moments. We have been spending in home, staying at home with a lot of time, and really I have never been such a long time living in the home. Last 20 plus years, I have been constantly, every alternate day, there was movement. I was roaming around and for first time experienced something very, very calming. And I'm staying at home. And though it is really a panic situation, this situation around the globe, global pandemic, but still, really, I'm nurturing myself from within. Every day I'm spending more time for meditation and dream time, a lot, many dreams. And because I'm sleeping an extra hours just to dream, it's interesting because the symbolic language, the dreams, they can help us a lot. So that's why even these sessions, Sajjana Sangatya, we call it as Satsangas, means interactions with our spiritual friends. We are all together interacting with each other. It's really very good. I feel very wonderful about this. And friends, this particular coronavirus, COVID-19, from different perspectives, if we try to understand the situation, it brings us more uh, growth and evolution in us rather than affecting us, all of us, badly. So from Seth literature, the channeler of this great higher self, over self, called Seth, Jane Roberts channeled this information around 1970s to between 1975. So about the epidemics, what she said is about that these epidemics, there are two important things that's going on collectively in many human beings. One is despair, second is apathy. And Seth, he talked about that epidemic is a global protest. So for more information, you can read the book by Jane Roberts, Nature of Mass Events, how many things are co-created realities because we carry these kinds of thought forms. Many things um, are created in a collective way for our own evolution. So, dear friends, every day I am reading new books. A lot of learning process is happening. So today I want to speak about, share about my views about the death and dying, the art of dying. And this particular topic, die before you die. These are the words from the Sufi master, Jalaluddin Rumi, who talked about this. Before you die, we all die. One day we are going to die, certainly. But before we die, we need to know about this death. We need to die before we die. It's a metaphorical language that Rumi was talking in that language of metaphor. So it means that all of us, if we know that this death is not really like really dying, death means transition, death means transiting from this plane to the other plane. It's a change. It would be wonderful because how we going to approach towards death will be totally different, and how we also invite and welcome our life will be completely different if we understand the death and dying process. So first of all, let us all collectively send our, love prayers to all those people who left the bodies, vacated the bodies because of the pandemic around the globe. So all of them, nearly more, I think, I don't know the numbers, it's more than 1.5 lakhs, I think so. But we send our really our prayers and heartful wishes to all of them to move to higher planes. So, dear friends, today there are certain points that I will be stressing upon. One is about why do we have to die? What is the dying process? And what can we learn? And also learning about conscious dying process, how to die, prepare ourselves for death. So apart from that, I will share some of the ancient wisdom from point of view from Bhagavad Gita, and also from the point of view from Master Jesus Christ, or it is from Sufi masters, because all religions talked about death and dying process, and about every religion, every spiritual tradition also talked about this particular life after death, that there are different planes of consciousness, that we reach to those higher realms after death. So today that is our topic, and I'll be sharing with certain slides also while I share this to you, because through these slides we can understand many things. So dear friends, we can now, I think I'm going to click on this particular slide. Is it clear, friends? Is it coming to you? Otherwise, I have to do something here. Yeah, I think it's now clear. It's clear. I can share these images, certain things. So this particular topic is also my uh, important and my interesting topic. My whole life really revolved around this topic. When I stepped into this path of meditation, this is one of my questions that I had in my mind after reading this book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Richard Bach's book. This is the first thing that happened to me, that I want to know about the death and dying process. So, friends, um, so today I'm going to share with you these things. So, yeah, it's now good. So, why there is death? What if all of us going to continue our lives on this planet Earth? That possibility exists also for all of us that we don't die. We live in the physical bodies, and for thousands of years, what will happen to us? We do get bored of living here for such a long time. Death is also the other side of the coin. If life is birth and uh, birth is the one side of the coin, the other side of the coin is death. And this death also is making us to value life. If we know that death is also waiting for us, we don't take our life for granted. We live passionately. Really, every moment of our life is so precious. And if we consider that we're going to live forever on the planet Earth, it's very boring here because we lose interest after some time. Because in this plane, there are interesting experiences, and after you repeat several experiences over and over again, this repetition makes us feel bored. For example, eating the same idli, dosa, uttapam, and pongal, the same thing, and every day we do the same routine stuff, and in a way that the value of life is enhanced because there's something called dying. So that's why birth and death are integral parts of the greater life. They're two sides of the same coin, and these three words which are very important: birth, death, and life. Life is independent of birth and death. Before birth, there was life. We lived. We continue to live. Even before we are born, before you stepped into the mother's womb, you had a different life, a life of a soul. And after death, also, there is a continuation of the life. That's why we say death is not a full stop, but only comma. So it's really, I like this um, particular um insight about death is not a full stop, but only comma. There is a Telugu book which is written long back. I have read, I picked up this particular phrase from that Telugu book. మరణము ఫుల్ స్టాప్ కాదు, ఒక కామా మాత్రమే. Means I'm speaking in Telugu. And death actually makes us give more value to our life that we are leading. I tell you the story of the king from India. His name is Yayati. You might have heard this very famous story, popular story, because he lived for 100 years. He had 100 sons. That means that he had many wives, multiple wives. So this king Yayati, when 100 years is completed, the god of death, the lord of death, came that day to take him to the other planes. But Yayati was shocked. He was not prepared. So he fallen on the feet of the god of death. he tried to say so many things to the god of death, that please allow me to live for some more time, at least another 100 years, because I have not lived my life at all. All these 100 years, with unawareness, it is just gone. I have not lived. I'm not known anything, not experienced here anything. I plead you, I request you, please sanction me another 100 years. God of Death said it's not permitted. But this Yayati, this king, he was pleading. Finally, this God of Death said, okay, I will try to speak to my boss, means Yamadharmaraj, who is sitting in the higher planes, Yamadharmaraj, and hope you will also agree for it. Only thing is, I cannot go back to the higher planes now empty handed. I have to take someone. My job is to take someone there along with me. So if you are not coming, on your behalf, you must send someone else. So you're saying you have 100 sons. Why don't you ask one of your sons? Ask them if they are okay, that I'll take them instead of you. And Yayati thought, yes, I have 100 sons. They're my loving sons. Definitely they will agree. Everyone will be very ready to die also for me because I am his father. And he announced about that, and all the 100 sons were gathered. The first son, the eldest son, is 80-year-old. When Hayati is 100-year-old, the first son is 80-year-old. And he said, if my father, 100 years also, he is not satisfied with his life, I'm just only 80 years old. I have not lived my life also. How can I go? So he said, dear father, you also not lived anything, even the same case with me. Please, I can't give my life. I can't go on your behalf. So every son was speaking the same way because everyone almost felt the great fear coming to them. But the last son, the 100th son, the youngest one, he said, dear father, I'm ready to go on your behalf because not because of any other reason, simple reason. If you are not satisfied in 100 years about your life, even if I continue for more time on this planet Earth, my life will be the same. Why continue this life? Let me explore something else. I'll be happy to go. So he went on behalf of his father. Yayati was happy. But what happened is another 100 years elapsed. So again, the Lord of Death came, again asking the king, come, Yayati, now you must be ready for going along with me. Come along with me. And he said, no, give me one more chance, one more chance, 100 more years, 100 more years. Every 100 years, he was postponing his death. He wants more years, but he was always dissatisfied, discontent. Completely, he was not at all satisfied with his life. Finally, you know, he said one day that after even 10,000 years, he was the same. 1,000 years also, it's the same. So, friends, the moral of the story is if we not really living our life fully, in a really life is so complete and total. If we live, participate in life fully, really with our heart, from our heart, from our soul, from our body, from our mind, every single minute is so important, so precious. Then, if you have lived in such way with such quality, then will not have any fear about dying. When the death comes, we'll be so contented, so happy to leave this plane, to leave this body. So, friends, all the spiritual traditions that talk about this message, we don't die. If we look at Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna was speaking about this through so many slokas. He was giving the message that to Arjuna, to the mankind, Arjuna is just symbolic representation for the whole of mankind. All the people who are ready to learn the greater knowledge about life after death. He said to Arjuna, Asocha nanmasochastvam pragnavadanscha bhashase gatasu nagatasumscha nanusochanti panditaha. In second chapter, Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, 11th sloka, Lord Krishna was talking about how our unenlightenment, non-enlightened states, it makes us cry, feel sad about dying process, death. We grieve a lot for dying people and those who are dead. He said, Nanu sochanti panditaha, those who have realized this greater knowledge about the soul science, Adhyatmika Shastra, those who have really learned about dying before they die. So they will not have any kind of grief about death process. So it is such a great wisdom Lord Krishna was showering on humanity. In Mahabharata war, almost like millions died in that war. And that everyone was so close to the death process. The Kauravas and the Pandavas, and there were these soldiers, army, the animals, horses, and the elephants. There are many deaths that happened. So, also, Lord Krishna talked several other occasions in other chapters. He said about na hanyate hanyamane sarire. When the body is dying, that you are not dying. The, the body is dying. You are just vacating the body. Vasansi jinaya yadha vihaya. That means a person who is dying is just leaving these clothes which are torn, the body which has become really damaged, it has become sick. You can't continue life in this body anymore. You discard that dress, that costume, and you go to higher planes and you come back again, wear a new costume. That's what is Lord Krishna is saying. So many of these slokas are from the second chapter. I highly advise my dear friends to just read Bhagavad Gita. It's beyond religion. It is the scripture for everyone. It is completely Adhyatmika Shastra. Lord Krishna is a spiritual scientist, and it is a pure science that he was talking about. So Nainam Chandanti Shastrani. That means no weapon can kill, destroy the soul. No water can wet the soul. No fire can annihilate the soul, extinguish the soul. Nothing really can destroy the soul. So, dear friends, when we look into this message, we don't die. It means that our body is dying, but you don't die, the real you, because you are not this body alone. You are much more than this body, much more than this mind, much more than your emotions and your ego structure, your ego personality structure, much more than that. And I like this quotation from Seth, the oversoul Seth. In one of the books, he channeled this message: death will not bring you an eternal resting place. Because this topic, many feel that, oh, death is so good. I don't need to fear death. Many feel like committing suicide and leaving the body. And because there are many problems here. Already, the many people committed suicides. Every day, there are many reports of the suicide deaths in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, this place. So even India, within India also, there are many deaths, suicides particularly, because the fear of this COVID-19. So, but just read those words. Death will not bring you an eternal resting place. That is not the solution. If we can't face the COVID-19, if we can't face our problems occurring in our life, even death will not solve all these things. People think it's a kind of myth people carry. They assume that now it's too much for me to handle the situations. I have my business is collapsed, my relationships are turbulent, I lost everything, and I can't continue life, and I will die. I can end my life so that I'll be at peace. I'll reach to a resting place. No, it is not going to happen, because even after death, we carry the same kind of this astral mind. Our astral body carries the same kind of problems even after death. We continue the same thing. So when we reincarnate, we have to begin everything from the scratch. We have to face again the same issues which you left in between. So that's why this topic should not motivate all of us to end our life abruptly, dear friends. The very purpose or objective of this session is to um, make this life more qualitative and more fulfilling, more we can participate with our uh, complete energy. So, dear friends, death is a grand illusion. Fear of death is the root of all the other fears. Remember this. So we generally think that death is there. We all have that concept that the body is dying and you are going to vanish. There's nothing that exists beyond death. But we must know this, the greater truth, that death is just an illusion. That means death is only for the body. Many of our fears that we have in day-to-day life is connected to this root fear. Deepest fear at the core is the fear of dying. Fear of death is the biggest of all the fears, dear friends. That's why we must know this. Many of us, we wonder, why do I have this fear of living? Fear of living, fear of humiliation, fear of being insulted, fear of success, fear of failure, and whatnot. So many strange fear of snakes too, fear of cockroaches, fear of strange people, fear of unknown people, fear of speaking, many fears. If you go to the deeper layers of these fears, what you find is underneath all these layers, the fears, you find the root fear, the fear of dying. Finally, if the fear is going to make us experience a kind of downfall and we get drowned the pool of emotions and whirlpools of life. What happens finally? If you question yourself, you'll understand that finally we reach to the place of death. Or if nothing, no food, finally I die. If nobody is there in the loneliness, I die. We come to that, the dying process. Death finally comes to us, in front of us. The fear of death is the root of every other fear. So, friends, in India, we keep hearing these words, Maya. Now it is known around the globe about this word, Maya. Maya, and the second word is Yama, Yamadharmaraj. So these words are really very interesting words from Sanskrit. Maya means illusion, and the Yamadharmaraj or Yama means actually the death, who symbolically represents death. We generally think that in India that there is a person who is an in charge, who is really a physical person in the higher planes of consciousness, in the other worlds, that Yamadharmaraj stays, and there is a judgment that's going to happen after death. We really feel very scary about that, meeting Yamadharmaraj there. But know that there's no such person like Yamadharmaraj. It's not, it's only our ancient rishis from Bharatdesh was speaking in metaphors, in symbolic language. It's not the person who is sitting there. So, Maya, the word, when you reverse that word, Maya, it is Yama, means when you're reaching to a point of death, what happens is so far all those things which you thought is the most important things in your life suddenly loses the value. When the death is approaching, death is coming to you, that moment you forget about your money, wealth, gold, relationships. You don't really bother about any kind of these small trivial things that you give so much value in life. Small trivial things we worry too much, but when we are death is approaching, in that moment what we really feel is we go through what is called shattering of all illusions. Every illusion is shattered in that moment. The death really takes away all the Maya. Even a person who is a non believer, a rationalist, an atheist, who is dying, who thought that there is no life after death, and who believed strongly that there is only saying one life, that's all. We are biological machines, biological accidents. This universe itself is a biological accident. There is no greater intelligence which is really which created this beautiful prakriti, this vishwam, this universe. Even such people, when the death is approaching, it is a big question mark. Suddenly, their minds also will have a question mark. If they are with open mind, they have a possibility to understand what is greater than, what is beyond death, what is beyond this birth, what is that life which is beyond, after death, the life that continues after death. So many rationalists and atheists also, they have different experiences in the life after death states. So dear friends, I was an atheist before. Completely I was following communistic philosophy. My father was a renowned physics lecturer. That's why I received this name Newton, because my father is fond of physics. He named all my siblings My brother's name is Einstein. My sister's name is Curie. Brother's name is Darwin. My name is Newton. From childhood, my father really given me the science. He said, if we have to worship something, worship science. Science is God. I really thank my father for giving me this scientific temperament. So, but younger age, I denied about everything about life after death, or the God or soul was not part of my upbringing at all. I denied. I refused to believe. My mother was a highly devotional lady, and she worships Krishna, Rama, all the gods, Mukoti Devatas, but I was completely against it as a child. But at everyone in everyone's life, there is a day that comes to them, and our mind opens. My mind opened at one time when I was 17-year old, when I read the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull. After that, when I come across my teacher, my guru of meditation, he said only one single thing, simple thing. He said, I know all the answers, but I will not give you any answer. Find your own answer, because these borrowed answers will not satisfy you. I teach you the way how to get these answers from your own soul, your own consciousness. Be like a scientist, he said about this. He said, carry your scientific temperament. My guru's name is Brahmashri Pitamaha Patriji, who is the founder of Pyramid Spiritual Societies movement. He said, practice Anapana Sati meditation, Buddha's method of breath awareness. You will find your own answers. And he said, come back to me after 40 days. In these 40 days, every day practice 3 hours of meditation. And he said specifically 3 hours. I thought, okay, it's closing my eyes, it's so easy, 3 hours. Anyway, from childhood, it's my habit. I was always a procrastinator, very lazy person. I was like that in that during that time. I was 19-year-old when I met Patriji, and I thought it's lazing and sitting quietly like closed eyes. I thought it's easy. It's the most difficult thing. I realized soon. After a week's time, I thought I was going crazy. So many thoughts in my mind. Now, thousand thoughts multiplied into lakhs and millions, and it was not stopping. But I want to meet that guru again. The guru said, "Meet me after 40 days. Don't come back to me without the practice. Don't ask me silly questions." I continued my practice, even in spite of all these thoughts. I thought I'll go insane. After 21 days of practice, my mind completely vanished. One day, I found that there is no thought in my mind. Absolute, tranquil mind, I have noticed. My mind has no thoughts at all. By the time 40th day is reached, I found the key how to switch off this linear mind, the mind which constantly is going into the past or projecting into the future. In that no thought state, no mind state, I started really enjoying my life. My mind became very open, and I started getting many of these spiritual experiences. My first spiritual experience is out of body experience, astral travel experience. Because I was never a believer of this, one day I was meditating, I came out of my body. I could see myself from outside. I thought it's my hallucination. In the medical textbooks, I was third year student at the time, medical student. So it's written that in psychiatric book, any out of body experience is called a sign of symptom of schizophrenia. I was worried. Am I becoming this lunatic? is schizophrenic? Am I going to end up into some psychiatric problem? So I have to investigate into this because it's my personal experience at that time. I thought I have to now investigate into this. In that outer body state, I said I will visit my friend's room. I'm going to see what my friend is doing in this outer body state. And what I'm going to see, whatever the information that I'm going to look at, I'll come back into my body. Later on, I going to cross check and validate. I did that on the day in my outer body, in the energy body. I could move into my friend's room. So I was staying in a hostel. I was in the medical hostel that time. So I went into my friend's room. I saw what my friend was doing, his dress code. He was mainly doing one activity. He's drawing a picture of a tree with a green sketch pen. And I thought this is good. This information I can validate. I came back into my body. This time I went into his room in my physical Jagruta Avastha in waking state and knocked on his door. I asked him, "So, what are you doing, my dear friend?" And I saw his dress code, the lungi, the clothes that he was wearing. It's confirmed, it's validated. The same colored clothes that I saw, it was the same. And also, I saw him. Then he showed me that picture of the tree with a green sketch pen. He was holding the sketch pen in his hand. Then I felt so joyous about this. Later on in my meditations, several times I used to come out like it's like an experiment for me. I used to learn all the time, floating above the body and traveling to different locations. And one day I thought, when Krishna talked about, the soul is not going to die, now I will stand in front of the Lord. So my astral body was standing in the middle of the road, and the lorries were going on me, but nothing was happening. I thought one day I will jump from top of a building in my astral body, but I see nothing is happening. I felt such freedom. I lost completely fear of death and dying. So, friends, before we die, we can actually know what is deathlessness, what is deathless component, deathless part of us, the soul which never dies in us. Then we can live differently. That many other profound realizations I had is discovering my past life memories and all these things. I realized that, oh, so many lifetimes I have come here. I died many times. This is also another beautiful, what is called as natak, a drama, another drama. This life also is another drama. And I found that every drama, we are the authors, we are the script writers. We also plan this current life, circumstances, events, and our parents, and also our lessons that we want to learn on this planet Earth, because Earth is a beautiful school. So we are coming here many times. I realize that why should we fear dying when we died already many times in many lifetimes? So it changed my viewpoint, dear friends. Before this meditation path, meditation practice, I was too much stressed, always very, very stressed. There is only one life. You have to always run, 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 run like a machine. I was like a biological machine at the time. Suddenly, I slowed down. I started enjoying everything. Sipping tea, enjoying tea is so important. Conversing with my brother, mother, my friends is so important. Looking at sunrise is so precious for me. Everything actually so precious in life. So, and also We live with such meaning and purpose, friends. Every single moment is so divine, so precious, with full of meaning. And this mystery continues every day. We must not know about tomorrow. It must be a surprise for us. We must know a broad outline of this life, about our soul plan, what we have planned out well in ahead, like a template, but not every single detail. The surprise element must be always there. The mystery must be alive. So, illusions are shattered by the death. That's what is Yama and Maya. Yamadharmara shatters all the Maya in us. So, one of the shlokas I remember from Adi Shankaracharya, this greatest guru from India. He is the greatest Advaitic master. At a very younger age, realized himself. Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. I really love this teacher, this guru. His teachings, so precious. He said in simple 33 slokas in Bhajagovindam, my favorite slokas. He has given all the entire essence of spirituality in just 33 slokas. He said, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. Samprapte Sannihita Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukruin Karune. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. He said, Bhaja Govindam means is the name of Krishna. Actually, we must know the real inner meaning of Govinda. Govinda means the one who has really transcended or conquered all the senses, the five senses, who is a master of five senses. Five external senses, five internal senses, all the senses. He's a master. He is called Govinda. Bhaja Govinda means it is not the repetition of the name, but it is the remembrance of who you are. That means knowing yourself. Your soul is called Govinda. Your soul is actually beyond the senses. Your soul is beyond the body and mind. Actually, your soul is the master. Your soul is called God, living in this body called temple body. And your senses, your mind, your emotions, it's all tools for you to live this planet on this planet Earth, to live your life. It's a tool. So, dear friends, Bhaja Govinda means remember, constantly remember who you really are. Constantly remember. It's like chant, it's like mananam. Repeat. Remember every moment through your sincere practice. If you remember who you are, then he talked about the rest of the things he said. Satsangatve nisangatvam. Not this one. Samprapte sannihita kale nahi nahi rakshati dukruin karune. Samprapte sannihita kale means when your time is ending, you're coming to your last moments of your life. That's called sannihita kale. That moment you will be shaken. You will be in a kind of earthquake. You'll be shaking. You'll be shocked because you have not come to know about yourself. You don't know about what happens after death. You are so scared. Samprapte sanit kale nahi nahi rakshati dukruin karune. He's saying that nothing can save you in that moment. Nothing can save you. Nothing can make you fearless in that moment if you don't know yourself before you die, before you approach the last moments of life. dear friends, is such profound realization that's shared by Adi Shankaracharya. So important this one is. So now I'm going to share with you about this Chitragupta and Yamadharmaraj, another name we keep hearing from our ancient scriptures from Bharat is another character called Chitragupta. He is called as an accountant who is working along with Yamadharmaraj. If you look at that word, Chitragupta, you will find something interesting there. Chitragupta, if you reverse the word, Gupta Chitra means Akashic records. Means your all the memory accounts, karmic accounts, everything ethereally recorded, everything energetically imprinted. This is called Akashic record. So in the life after death states, many people, they review their life. They will look at their life, pros and cons, because we will be evaluating ourselves. How did I do in this life? Did I really complete my mission, a purpose that I planned for this life? Or is this life really, I have lived completely? I have danced my dance, sang my song. Did I write poetry? Did I sing poetry? Or I was really, I have not participated, aloof, lonely. Did I live like worrying too much? So know that in the life after death states, we all review our own life. That's called Gupta Chitra Akashic records. We have access to our own Akashic records. It's very interesting, dear friends, because all the Puranas, the stories we keep hearing from our ancient India, they have antarartha, inner meaning. They are not just stories. There is profound message conveyed by rishis. And in this slide, I have written this: underlying the fear of death lies the fear of change. Know that there is fear of change that is more deep rooted in the fear of death. What is fear of death? Because in the death, it's also a change. You're changing the place from the physical location, you're going to the astral location. From one room, you are entering into another room. From one state of consciousness, you're reaching to another state of consciousness. Like just like water, it was solid when in the low temperatures, but in the higher vibrational state, higher temperatures, it's now liquid and then it is becoming gaseous. So when we're dying, we are entering into our higher frequency body, our astral body, and we're going into a different location. And but we fear. That fear of change is the underlying fear. We all have, dear friends, the fear of change. The biggest fear is fear of change. So when we are born, that moment when we are born, our death certificate is also issued, because everyone who ever is born is going to die one day or other. It's a matter of time. It's a question of how long, and some the few years, some 50 years, some 100 years, 150 years, could be even some a long life, much more than that. Like Mahatma Babaji, who is ageless, even from Dwapar Yuga, even much before that, uh, residing in Himalayas. There are many deathless, immortal beings. But it's a matter of time. Once they decide that my purpose here is over, they may leave the body. So it's just a change. Many of us, we fear this change, but death is so inevitable, dear friends. Whichever is born in the physical plane is going to experience death also. Birth and death are two uh, sides of the same coin, and it's just changing. That's all. This death is making us to experience something else. That's why Buddha emphasized on this practice of this deep insight that we gain in meditation, acceptance of every change. So in meditation, when you're watching your breath is changing. As the thoughts in your mind slows down, your breath will be slowing down. From sthula breath, gross breathing, it becomes sukshma breath, means the breath slows down, it becomes energetic breathing. Subtle breathing happens. Effortless breathing happens in meditation. So, first we start noticing this change. Even in your body, certain sensations will come and go, birth and dying, rising and falling. This phenomena of change, we keep noticing. We also understand during the time the law of impermanence. Everything is changing, everything is a flux. And we need to be established into that insight, which really helps in our life. Even in our life, we see that when there is a time that where we are experiencing sadness, know that this sadness too shall pass away. This is going to change. Know that when there is illness that has come, this too shall pass away. Whatever is born, it's also going to die. Know that if you have reached to a point where you lost everything in your life, know that this too shall pass away. And you can witness that. And when you are agreeing to every change that's happening in our life without resistance, we don't suffer. Buddha's words, I really love these words. He said, pain is inevitable. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You decide whether you want to suffer or not. Pain is inevitable. Pain comes. Physical body pain, emotional pain, pain when you lose someone loved ones, and that pain comes. But suffering, we enhance that suffering through our mind. If we know that all changes are okay, because that's the nature of the reality. In this physical reality, everything changes. Nothing is going to be static. It's a dynamic phenomena. Then suddenly all this suffering vanishes. We'll be okay with it, every change. One day the death comes, dying, we have to go through this dying process, and even that change is also, transition also is fine. We agree to it. So dear friends, for those who seek to understand the process, dying becomes not only an art to be perfected, but the most exciting human adventure of all. The most exciting human adventure, it seems. So that's why spiritual science is called the science which is teaching us about beyond death, the knowledge about beyond death. So it's about Beyond death, we are learning. And dear friends, there is a slight, I think, problem with the transmission. That's why I'm setting it up. Takes only 1 minute time, then it'll be okay. So now I think it's okay. I can appear on the screen and I can also interact with you. So, dear friends, the spiritual science is really making us understand this, that it's a beautiful adventure, adventure to other planes. So this is the really an important and interesting topic. Many people, when they are about to die, there can be a beautiful transition that can happen instead of fear, suffering, and you know, so much of pain. Those people can be prepared. So this knowledge really is so important. And dear friends, there are many other planes of consciousness that exist beyond the earth. In the slide you can see now, if you are exiting this earth, there are certain planes that you enter into. They're called as astral planes. So some of them here you can see in this picture, this slide, that lower astral plane, middle astral plane, and upper astral plane. There are like different frequencies. They are like different energetic dimensional realms. So according to our own vibrations, we will be reaching to those planes. So in the, for example, in the lower astral planes, they are called as hells. Narakaloka means they are called as lower vibrational realms. In those planes, people, whatever guilt they carry or certain things they carry, they suffer through their whatever guilt, hidden guilt they carry from that lifetime, because they're still unable to uncling themselves, detach themselves from that earthly life they have just left. Many, they still hang on to it. That's why in the lower astral planes, even the ancient Puranic stories in India, we keep narrating about those punishment system and purgatory period and a lot of painful experiences. And according to our vibrations, we reach to middle astral plane, then higher astral planes. Higher astral planes are called Svargalokas. Means there, it's a higher vibratory realms where you have much more joyful experiences. Like there are many other dimensional beings, astral beings. You have interaction with them. Such experiences people have go through in the life after death states. So in this place where there are certain portals through which they can access these akashic records, they're great halls of learning. So in the astral realms, in the life after death stage, first stage is resting stage. They will go through the rest, because after such tough time on earth planet, many intense experiences, they want to rest for some time. So that resting stage, and then they go through the review stage. They want to evaluate this pros and cons of this life that they just lived and just left. And then next is they'll prepare for the next journey to the earth. They plan, that's called planning stage. Roughly this is the outline. And also there are, you know, different other realms that many they experience according to their own vibrational nature. Those who are higher advanced souls, they also explore, they will be reaching to the higher realms like causal planes. They're called as Karana Lokas. I will introduce you to these names. This world, the gross world or the physical world that we're residing, it's called in Sanskrit Sthula Prapancha. Sthula. This is called Sthula, gross physical tangible world. And astral frequency worlds are called as Sukshma lokas. Sukshma means subtle worlds. And there are Karana lokas. Karana means causal planes. Karana loka. This is another Sanskrit name. And there are celestial planes which are called Mahakarana lokas. These are the names that are told by our ancient rishis for spiritual scientists who has done such inner explorations. In the ancient Vedas, Upanishads, they talked about it, about these archetypal seven planes of consciousness that exist. Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, Suvarlok, Janalok, Maharlok, Tapolok, Satyalok. We say that these seven upper worlds and seven even the lower dimensions also, like Rasatala, Talatala, Patala, all these seven lower than the earth realm. There are many other words. So it's very interesting, friends, to explore, to understand these other realms. So many people, they, on the slide, you can see that the path of light and path of darkness. When we are about to die, many people with unconscious when they die, what happens is with unconsciousness, with fear, with ignorance, with not knowing what is going to happen, and they have great fear. And what happens is they have low vibrational frequency. They enter into what is called path of darkness. It's called Dakshinayanam. And there's path of light. This path of light means Uttarayanam. Advanced souls, they go through conscious dying process, just like Bhishma Pitamaha. After Mahabharata war, Bhishma Pitamaha said, I will vacate my body on this particular day. He was on the Ampasaya, means all the arrows. With that, a nice bed was made. He was residing on that. He was lying down on that. He was relaxing on that. And the last moments, he chanted Vishnu Sahasranamam. He was remembering about the soul's nature, about the greater soul, higher self, Vishnu Sahasranamam. With consciously, he left the body. He announced about those moments even before he vacated the body. It's so interesting, dear friends, how consciously one advanced soul can vacate the body. So always death is optional. We must know that death is optional. Death is your choice. Unless you say that I have lived my life fully, now I am ready to transit, you don't need to die soon beforehand. So as you master this monkey mind, as you master, understand your own entire consciousness, you understand that you are the master of your life, then you are the in charge. You have the autonomy to choose when to vacate the body. Know that when your purpose is over, you will not stay here for an extra moment. Our soul feels that, yes, I completed my life, and now I am ready to transit to higher planes. So, dear friends, so according to the soul levels, our experiences of the life after death will be different. For example, they're beginner souls, they're intermediate souls, they're advanced souls. There are different experiences the soul encounters after they leave the body. So generally, beginner souls means they're more of earthbound, means they don't know that they've forgotten, they don't know about higher nature of their consciousness in the soul. That's why they think that there's only one life, there is no life after death. They have tremendous fear. They encounter such certain difficulties in the life after death. And intermediate souls, a smooth transition they can achieve. Advanced souls, they have fun while they're leaving the body. They smile, they dance, they just, it's like tata and bye bye, goodbye to this life. And graciously they depart this world. Something very, very beautiful for advanced souls. So, how everyone can have smooth transition to other realms? Because it is possible for everyone, dear friends. It's not for only few people, but we can acquire this knowledge and translate this knowledge into a certain experience through practice of meditation. Then that experience of your own consciousness makes you have the smooth transition into other realms. It's possible. Know that it is possible. So when we are leaving the body, for example, like a spark, our soul is like a light with the kanti deha, means it has a light body. Our gross body, it has no light. Once we vacate the body, this gross body is going to blend, merge into all this, whatever this earth elements, five elements of nature, dust unto dust, prithvi tattva, jala tattva, agni tattva, vayu tattva, space, akash tattva. Our physical body is decomposed. Whether we going to cremate the body, whether we bury the body, it doesn't matter. Our physical body just mingles into five elements of nature. But your second body, it's called etheric body, pranamaya kosha, it stays for some time because it has what is called as prana. It stored the prana, because if you're a meditator, you have a lot of prana. So that prana stays for some time. It's said that roughly around 12 to 13 days. That's why we do all those rituals in India, that for at least 12 to 13 days, there are certain kinds of shraddha rites, death rites conducted in India. So these 12 to 13 days, this etheric body also slowly disintegrates and it mingles into the universal cosmic energy. But those who are advanced souls, they have high energy. Their etheric body stays for such a long time. For example, if you visit a tomb of a saint, any saint, for example, Shirdi Sai Baba, if you go to Shirdi, you can feel the vibrations of that master because his etheric body is still there. And he also, Shirdi Sai Baba said, I'll be there as this omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent consciousness, all pervading consciousness. I will be guiding you from my tomb. That's what he said. And his energy is supporting many people. If you go to any tomb, any kind of graveyard of these masters, many Sufi fakirs, I have a habit of this. Always I visit and meditate in those places where the masters, samadhis, we call them as samadhi place. So like Master Arabindo in Pondicherry, or I visited so many places. Gorakhnath, one master by name Gorakhnath, his tomb is there. If you go to this place, I think it's in Madhya Pradesh. What is that place? I've forgotten. If someone remembers the place where Gorakhnath Baba's his samadhi is there, can let me know through the comment box. And when I meditated there, really, it's such vibrations. He was considered as a Sufi master also. That's why even beyond religion, whether someone is a Christian or a Muslim or Hindu, they all visit that graveyard, the Samadhi place, and they meditate, they offer their flowers and incense sticks and all that. It's really wonderful. So many of these advanced souls, when they leave their body, they also their etheric body supports those uh, who are the living ones. They just left the body. The soul went to the higher planes, but the energy body supports many of these people. Vibrations of Buddha is still there. We always find these relics of Buddha, which was distributed throughout the globe, like Sri Lanka has certain things, and even in India, in many places, the relics of Buddha was kept preserved. It supports definitely those who are meditators. So in the life after death states, after these two bodies are decomposed, means they mingle, now your Sukshma Sarira, it leaves the body. We go to what is called as the astral plane. There is a kind of gateway experience many people go through. It is called meeting the guide. Our guides, we meet them there. We have guides. They like a how if someone is entering through an arch, there are security guards. They will first check your visa, passport, and it's like a borders. They have to verify who you are and why you're coming there. So they will check. That's what many people, even my own research through past life regressions and life between life regression therapy, that that's the findings that I'm sharing with you. These are the findings. Meeting the guide in this gateway, and then after that, the soul goes through orientation chamber. They evaluate. They have what is called review process. After that, they're going to experience what is called as meeting the soul group. It's fun, friends, to go to meet our soul group. Do you know that you have soulmates? You have not only one soulmate, many soulmates. It's like how we treat in a particular classroom. We call all the students who are sharing the same classroom, we call them classmates. A bunch of souls who belong to the same soul pod. They are known as soul group. All of them are soulmates. We have approximately 144 to 1,44,000 soulmates. Means some soul groups are very smaller number. They have very small groups, the limited number. Some are very, very expanded groups are there. So meeting the soul group is really fun. We must know this. And there are going to be a lot of interactions, lot of fun happens there. And it's like cheering up your soul group members who some people they don't reincarnate. They're still there. They're the cheer group. They will be looking from there and clapping for you whenever you are really living your purpose and really excelling in your life. And they prompt you sometimes intuitively. They send you messages. It's fun to meet them in our life after death states. And another stage is after that is called meeting the council of elders. They are the high dimensional beings. The elders means they're like on par with Lord Krishna to Lord Buddha, Christ consciousness, or such great masters who are like council of elders. With they will also we will have an opportunity to meet them, and when we interact, they also guide us. They review our. They have an access to all the lifetimes. For example, you lived 400 lifetimes. They know that your map, your graph of life, is it graph is like irregular, is it like nice progressive, you're revolving through all the multiple experiences of many lifetimes. They guide you. They know everything about you. Yeah, it's really fantastic experience to meet them. And one more beautiful experience is the planning stage, choosing the next life. This also reported by many LBL experience, life between life regression experiences, how they choose the next life, whatever they plan for the next life, the choices they made, selections they made, all that about the karma quotient, how much karma baggage they have, what are the lessons they plan to learn, and then they are now born as a child. They enter into the mother's womb approximately around, say, third month, mostly third month to eighth month to ninth month also, but very rarely around 10 to 20% of souls they enter before third month, but 80% of them after third month they enter into the fetal body. So this is roughly the roadmap for the soul, dear friends. Even after death state, this is what we're going to experience. We go through these kinds of beautiful after death encounters, experiences. But mostly, advanced souls have this conscious knowledge or conscious remembrance of this. So when we are meditating, we remember these memories. It's fun to remember. So after my sadhana and my practice of meditation, I could remember my LBL experience, where the choices that I made in this life and many things. And of course, I went through all kinds of challenges. Many challenges are well planned beforehand in the LBL state. I have planned those traumatic events like from childhood, many things. But it's interesting because every traumatic and all those things that we planned also it raises our what is whatever that we can call as capacities and our courage and many things. There's a plus in every minus. There's positive in every negative situation or event that happened in our life. So well in ahead, we know the illnesses, challenges, relationship problems. Most of them, we also agree to them. We have many contracts that made beforehand in the LBL states. So now I want to share with you about the three deaths that happen in the life after death states. Three deaths we go through. So, friends, at this point of time, if you have any questions, also you can keep asking. It's because it's good to interact to know if you have some questions. So, somebody posted like Mariana Kaleja, hearing about the soul group makes my heart flutter like a lifetime longing and waiting. Thank you, Mariana. It's true. We must know about our soul group. Really, it makes us progress very well. We know that we are supported. We are not alone here on the planet Earth. So it's really wonderful to know that. And dear friends, I'm going to tell you about these three deaths that happen. Not one death. We have three deaths, but only an advanced soul who has a conscious, nature, conscious of consciousness, who is awakened one, who goes through, who understands this, the life after death, that three deaths. It's really very interesting to know this knowledge. And the first physical death is we know that about the physical death, how we leave this corpse. When we leave this body, this is called corpse, dead body. It's the torn and worn clothes. And after that, astral body, when we go to the astral plane, there also many of the advanced souls, after some time, they leave the astral body and they go to the higher planes. They go into called as causal body. It's like changing your costume. For example, you are moving into water. You can't enter into the water using your what is called car, right? Am I right? Yes, we can't use your vehicle like a car or motorbike to enter into the water. You need what is called boat, ship is needed. So if you are entering into sky, you can't enter into the sky with a boat and ship. Ship can't fly in the sky. You need an aeroplane. If you want to go beyond our Earth plane into the space between the stars, we need satellite. In the same manner, when we are dying, we also, when we are entering into astral realm, we use this astral costume like astronaut wearing a astronaut dress. We have this astral dress. An advanced soul leave that astral costume, also goes to the causal body. Causal dress is a higher dimensional body. It's really interesting to have these beautiful multiple experiences of this causal body in your deep meditation. So many of these advanced souls, they leave the causal body also, and they reach to higher causal, supracausal body stage. It's really the most beautiful experience they go through. And death experiences of an advanced soul, the three deaths we go through. We must know this, dear friends. So, last thoughts that determine our next life is what I want to share with all of you. So, here there's a beautiful sharing by one of our Sangha member, Anil Balotia ji, sharing something interesting here. Let me click on that and it can appear on the screen. So in physical life, we pick up the vibration of our soul group. So Anil Balotia ji is sharing this. Means we feel that we have known this person before, or we feel that there is some unknown harmonious connection for a long time. One don't feel that meeting that person for first time. So does it mean they are yes, they're part of the soul group? Yes, Anil Balotia ji, we know many of the people here. When we meet them again, we have strong resonance with that being that you're meeting here. So an instant connection. You have very deep understanding about each other, as if they are like buddies from a long time. So it's interesting. Thank you for asking this question and sharing about it. And there's one more thing we can take, we can understand. Can you please tell me something about Garuda Purana, where it is said that we have to go through several punishments after death based on our karma. This concept has created a lot of fear in me when I was a child. Anuji, namaskar. And yes, in Garuda Purana, it is scripture. It's scripture which can guide those beginner souls. And what happens when a beginner soul is transiting to the planes, other planes of consciousness? Generally they go through these lower astral planes. Those planes are, you know, whatever that hurt we have given to others, we're going to experience the pain. Whatever harm we have given to others, it's like instantly we're going to experience that. That's what is reported by Garuda Purana, that we don't need to be scared of that. Know that in the right understanding of karma, karma is not seeking punishment. Karma is educational. Karma is just a tool to learn lessons. So that's why we don't need to suffer. We don't need to put ourselves into needless suffering again and again. Instead, learn the lesson. When we are learning the lesson, the karma is neutralized. So many people think that only in the life after death state, in the Naraka Loka, in those transitory planes, our karma will be, purged, and these punishments that are going to be given. Is many people, they actually fear death because of this fear of punishments, or fear of being judged in the life after death states. Dear friends, know that there are no people will judge us. No astral guides will judge us. No God will judge us. There's nobody is judging us. And immediately, even after death, even if you are really a perpetrator, a person who have hurt someone, so many people, who caused trouble to others, immediately after death states, you are unconditionally accepted and loved and embraced. No one is going to judge you. It's only the guilt that we carry. We go through certain experiences there. So, dear friends, I think, hope, Anuji, you got the clarity about it, and don't need to fear about it. So another thing I want to tell you is last thoughts that determine the next life. Know that how we are dying, the last moments of our life, if we have these kinds of thoughts about low frequency thoughts, fearful thoughts, it becomes the seed energy for the next life, the future life. There's a story about Jada, this master who was living in his ashram, but he has really fallen attraction and love with a deer which has come into the ashram, and he used to take care of this deer very dearly. And one day the deer has escaped from the ashram, moved far away, and he was searching for the deer for years and years. Finally, he left the body, and the last thoughts were about the deer. This deer he could not find in that life, and he reincarnated as this deer. So, and but this deer, he was very wise, and always carried the conscious awareness about the knowledge that he gained in the past life. That's why he used to always attend the discourses of the great rishis, masters in the ashrams. Were always interested to go there to the ashrams. So it's interesting to know this. So, friends, it's so important. The last thoughts are so important. That's why the art of living, how we give so much value, importance to art of living this life, but the art of dying is so important. We must know about art of dying. So, dear friends, to validate all this what we are sharing, there's a beautiful research conducted around the globe, many countries, independent researchers, medical scientists, even many spiritual scientists conducted this research called near death experience phenomena. People who have died temporarily, who left the body, and for a few minutes to few hours to few days, who came back again into the body, who reported common experiences. There's a common theme in near death experiences. First time this was popularized around the globe by this master, who is also a doctor, Dr. Raymond Moody, a medical doctor who was working in cardiology unit. And he observed people who died, who were clinically dead, not just um, absent vital signs, but those who are clinically dead means doctors certified them as dead. Their pulse rate is not there, heart rate stopped, and their ECG has become flat wave, no EEG wave recorded, and all these vital signs missing from the body, and doctors declared dead. Such people, after few minutes to few hours and few days in certain cases reported, they come back. So such cases he interviewed. He has published his first book about this, life after life. After that, the many sequel books written about near death experiences. It is telling us about the life which continues even after you vacate the body. And they are the people, champions, who had experienced near death experiences, who had come back and who shared this profound experience. I had an opportunity to meet 100 people in India, and because we were doing a kind of research and also conducting a kind of episodes for a TV channel called Pragya channel. So around from 100 people who are interviewed, around 50 people were selected, and we did episodes. In that episodes, I conducted a regression process, exactly making them to go to that time when they left the body. For example, one instance, one person from Chennai, he died with cardiac arrest. Doctors declared him dead, and even the relatives, they are preparing for his now cremation and death rites, and they have called all the people, relatives, to come to the home. And what happened is, after I think 30 minutes or so, he was revived. He came back. When he came back, he was upset, he was angry because he had shared this experience with us. He went to the higher planes. In that higher planes, Sai Baba was there, and he was very happy with him. There was a communication with his guide, but his guide said, now go back, you have some tasks to fulfill. And he showed the future snapshots, future visions, what he has to do. But he was refusing to go back. But Sai Baba has to kick him. Then he has fallen down into his body with a thud, with a jerk. And when he came back, he was upset about what happened. He was very angry at Sai Baba and why he has to push me into this body. And then when he came back, doctors were surprised that he is alive now. He's breathing, and it's really an interesting experience. He said to the doctors, "Now, next time when I am reaching my deathbed, don't give me any medication." I thought death is very scary experience. Death is the most beautiful experience. That higher realms, higher planes, so interesting, so light. I was feeling weightless. I was feeling so much sense of expansive feeling, so much of oneness, so much connectedness. There's no dense feeling, gross feelings were not there. So this, like this, there are around the globe thousands and thousands of cases, friends. I highly recommend the books by Dr. Raymond Moody, Anita Murjani, Dying to Be Me, that experience she shared about her near death experience. Please go through those, it's very interesting. So it alters our viewpoint also, because somewhere our logical minds, linear minds, cannot believe about this. It feels unbelievable. But when we really read such real life experiences of many people about who've gone through this experience, it really changes our viewpoint. So, dear friends, for those who had astral experiences, it will be like a cakewalk when they are nearing the last moments. That's why meditation is called as a death experience. Meditation itself is a death experience, because in meditation we die to our old self. You will be reborn in meditation. So many of you think that how can I prepare myself when my death moments are coming? We can prepare by having astral experiences, inviting all these astral experiences. Because if we know where we are going to be when we leave the body, and also when we can look into that future possibility when we are about to die. Maybe we die when we are 150 years age, but we must know those last moments. And after death states, those realms that we're going to reach, because it's all accessible, friends. Only thing is our vibrational frequency needs to be raised through meditation practice. I had my own experience of my last moments of this current life. I know how I'm going to leave my body, and I know where I will be reaching, the astral planes. My grandmother, when she left the body, I was grieving. She was very dear to me. I read Bhagavad Gita, but it did not help. But I thought, let me meditate. So that moment when I was meditating, my grandmother's soul, she came and communicated with me. I could see her. My grandmother died when she was around 82 years age, and she was looking like 40-year-old woman with a western outfit. I never saw her that way, and with bobbed hair. She was with long hair, like a typical Indian woman, but I saw her with completely different. She was so joyful, and she said, "Why, my dear grandson, why are you sad about me? I am watching over you." And I asked her, I miss you, because I was reared by my grandmother. And when I was a child, I was sent to my grandmother. I thought she was my mother. She was mothering me. So it was such a deep connection with her. So at that moment, I asked her, "Where are you living?" She said, "I will show you where my residence now is." She took me to that astral planes where she was residing. She is learning dance, she is learning singing. She's like pop star. She's planning to come back reincarnated as a pop star. She's going to sing and dance next life. That's why it's a lot, many rehearsals is happening there. It's very interesting. So my grief completely gone at that moment. Whenever I feel like missing feeling comes to me, I visit. I sit in meditation. I visit her, and in many dreams, my grandmother and I shared dream communications. She always is my guide. In the childhood, I watched a Telugu movie. In that movie, it's interesting that that child, the grandson, loses the grandmother. So he always receives the guidance from the grandmother about in this current life events. So I received, dear friends, it's not just a movie that's taken, it's real experience of me. And I heard many people have experienced this too. They shared these experiences. It's really wonderful to know these things. So, dear friends, what is seen as death on one side of the veil is perceived as birth on the other. When you are dying physically here, you are taking birth in the higher dimensional realms. Those other realms, you are being born there. That's why death is really a grand illusion. So, dear friends, my favorite book, Journey to Ixtlan, and my favorite master, Don Juan, who is also a teacher and guru to Carlos Castaneda. I highly recommend all the books written by Carlos Castaneda. He talked about this profound statement, lesson. It's called "Death is the only advisor that we have." Remember these words, dear friends. Death is the only advisor that we have. We take our life for granted. Know that your death is waiting on your left side, an arm's length, it seems. That's what Danjuan said, and it's waiting for you. And always know that when it is waiting, you will not be, you know, moaning and groaning and cribbing and stuck in emotional whirlpools. Instead, we really pay attention to the solution and pay attention to the life. We dance and we sing. In the last moments, that's what matters, friends. That's what one question arises in our mind is, have I danced my dance? Have I lived my life as myself? Have I lived authentically? Have I lived passionately or not? That's what matters finally. The quality of the life, that's so important. So death is the wise advisor. Think about this. One question I want to ask all of you, that if you know that you're going to die in the next 3 days time, what are you going to do? We are going to, our priorities will be totally different. Those 3 days will be equivalent to 30 years of your life, because you will live intensely those 3 days. Means whatever those bucket list of you, you know what is your highest priority. Maybe it is spending time with your loved one. Maybe it is you want to express something about your love that you have in your heart to your loved one, which you could never express it. Maybe you want to forgive someone before you die. So maybe it is eating an ice cream, could be meditation. Maybe highest priority could be meditation. I want to leave this body consciously through my higher energy centers, through my agya chakra and sahasrara center. This is a higher dying process. Many saints and rishis, they know this technology in India, that they used to leave the body consciously in meditation. They die consciously. When everyone is witnessing, they know exactly the time, hour, minutes, seconds also. And very graciously, they leave from the higher energy centers. Maybe your meditation becomes your priority in the last moments. So think about this question. What are you going to do when your death is just 3 days, um, is waiting for you in 3 days, or maybe 3 hours? Think about it. Your priorities will be different, friends. We will not waste a moment. That's why I like these words from Don Juan. Death is only a wise advisor that we have. Death is our eternal companion. It's always to our left at an arm's length. It's eternal companion. If you make it as an eternal companion, you will not be scared. Instead, death makes you live your life fully. Really, every single moment cannot be wasted with trivial things. Sometimes we worry too much about the future. We miss this current moment. This moment is so precious, dear friends. And change the way you look at death, and as a result, you'll change the way you choose to live. Let's now look at death as eternal companion, death as a wise advisor, and death as an integral part of our life. Birth and death are two integral parts of this life. We can't exclude anything. So, I want you to now, dear friends, um, know that anybody leaving the bodies, we must not be dismayed by the goodbyes and farewells. These are the words from Richard Bach, you can see on the screen. Don't be dismayed at goodbyes. A farewell is necessary before you can meet again. Meeting again after moments or lifetimes is certain for those who are friends. And these are profound words from Richard Bach, from his book Bridge Across Forever, I think. So all the books of Richard Bach I highly recommend. Illusions, Bridge Across Forever, One, Biplane, and There is No Such Place as Far Away. Very important books. And friends, in a world where death is the hunter, my friend, there is no time for regrets or doubts. There's only time for decisions. So these are the words from, again, from Don Juan, this great teacher. So we must take the death as a great wise teacher, and it is making us take every single moment, making us plunge into action. Take decide now. Don't postpone things. I will do in the future. This will happen in the future. Never to postpone things. Do it now. A warrior must focus his attention on the link between himself and his death. He must let each of his acts be his last battle on earth. Only under those conditions will his acts have their rightful power. These are again words from Don Juan. So live as if you are, this is your last day, this is your last moment. Then we live really so totally and fully, dear friend. This is something very beautiful uh, teachings from Don Juan. Live as if this is your last life. This is the last day, last moment. Entire life of ours is a preparation for death. It's a preparation for death. How qualitatively you're going to live your life, definitely you know when your time comes, when you're leaving the body, with such grace you're going to leave this body. And friends, we are reaching to the final slide. Gratitude is the right attitude and antidote for the fear of death. The fear of death can be tackled through gratitude. Mostly, we are not grateful for even many things. They're grateful for this moment, grateful for our parents, grateful for the food that we are getting to eat every day, grateful for the health that we have, grateful for our mind, thoughts, and many things. We're not grateful. And grateful for all those champions and soldiers and people for working tirelessly. And really, if we are living in gratitude, that's the real best antidote for the greater life, and the best antidote for the fear of dying and death. So dear friends, read Kathopanishad. I recommend this Upanishad, Kathopanishad, the conversations between Nachiketa and Yamadharmaraj. This is ancient Upanishad, is the enlightening scripture, is the best scripture, best Upanishad, Kathopanishad. This is the gift to the whole world. If we want to know about life after death and art of dying, conscious dying, it's the really a book that really guides us. And another book I highly recommend is by Sogyal Rinpoche, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. Don't miss the opportunity to read the Tibetan Book of the Death, and this book, particularly Sogyal Rinpoche. And there's a beautiful system in Tibet they follow about conducting this transition process by a lama, a Buddhist master, who guides a dying person to the life after death states, the Bardo states. Life after death realms are called Bardo realms, intermediary realms. Those Bardo realms are so interesting. Those experiences are reported in this book. And also another book I highly recommend is A Soul's Journey by Peter Richelieu. Highly recommend this book, Peter Richelieu. And the book Three Lives by Lobsang Rampa about life after death, viewpoint about views of the life after death, and You Forever. Actually, Rampa master, this master, Lobsang Rampa, is a walk-in master who, in an Englishman's body, though he was a Tibetan soul, and he written more than 18 books. So they are readily available. Read every book, because every book has this beautiful metaphysical knowledge that he has presented. It's not fiction; it's non-fiction. One movie that I recommend, What Dreams May Come. So this is a really an interesting movie about life after death, about a person who committed suicide, and there's a a lot of insights you we can gain from this movie. The actor Robin Williams and really acted very well in this movie. And another movie I highly recommend, Astral City, A Spiritual Journey, based on the novel No Solar, Our Home by medium Chico Xavier. Highly recommend this movie as well, Astral City. It's readily available. You can watch it. So, dear friends, let's now um, meditate. Let's all meditate for some moments together, because celebrating the death of the death, meditation is also dying to your old self. So we need to really, like how we're celebrating birth, celebrate the death. When our moments of death comes, we can really joyfully vacate the body. But we approach death as something very natural process. So meditation is dying to our old self. Let's now sit comfortably, dear friends, for some time. Let's close our eyes. It's really good to meditate together. I want you to observe your breathing. Notice your in breath and your out breath. Your normal, natural breathing process need to be observed. No need to take deep breathing, no need to take shallow breathing. If the breath is long and deep, let it be long and deep. The breath is short and shallow, let it be short and shallow. So be in that state of mind where the mind is completely becoming empty from all the routine thoughts, habitual thoughts. Once you reach to that state where all the thoughts are now slowing down and you're able to appreciate that silence in the mind is empty. Know that you are much more than the thoughts in the mind, much more than the mind, much more than the body. You are that witnessing consciousness. At this moment, in this witness state, when the mind is empty and silent, from your heart center, I'd like you to connect to all those people who died. All those people who died. Maybe your near and dear ones, your family members or friends, all those who lost their lives in the recent times because of COVID-19 coronavirus throughout the globe, all of them. Because from our heart, we send our consciousness, we gaze, we look far and far beyond this earth, beyond into the realm of the dead, the realm where all the dead people, all those who vacates the body reaches. We call them as astral worlds, higher realms. We tune into that plane, and in our heart we carry this inner image of all those people who are dead, who passed away in the past. Could be recent past, could be distant past, all of them, including your grandmother, grandfather, or could be your very dear friends or pet animals also. Connect to their energy bodies, their consciousness there. You acknowledge their presence. You tell them, I see you. Whatever the grief that's coming right now, allow the grief to flow out of you, because Accept the grief. It's natural that we grieve for those loved ones when they leave the bodies. Just allow the grief to pass through your consciousness. Let allow these tears to roll out of your eyes. Acknowledge their presence. I acknowledge your presence. And from your heart, send a message, beautiful message to them, message of love, gratitude, whatever. Could be something else you want to tell them. So speak to them, all the dead people, like prayerful thoughts, filled with so much of compassion and love. And in that state of consciousness, you tell them that I'm going to reach to this place one day. I will also reach to this place where you are right now. But in the honor of all of you, I choose to live very well. And I live well, and I'm going to fulfill this life's mission, purpose. By living very well this life, I make it a beautiful gift for all of you, dear friends. You can communicate this to all those people who reach to the other side. And also tell them, I will join you after completing this purpose, mission of life, not a moment before. Only after completing this life, I'm going to join you. Not now, not a moment before. And at this moment, with this beautiful feelings which are shared and communicated and expressed through your heart, I'd like you to give place in your heart for all of those souls, including everyone, even past generations, many generations back. On this planet Earth, many people lost their lives through wars and through many, many epidemics and even the current epidemic. So, giving place in our heart for all of them. At this moment, with this thankfulness and gratitude, I'd like you to slowly and slowly return back to your own body and focus on your breathing. At this moment, pay attention to the insights that you can gain, insights that your own consciousness can give you, which can illuminate your mind about the art of dying and conscious dying and the life after death, or the life which is going to continue after death. Any insight that comes to you, you welcome those insights, these deep insights. Dear friends, just stay in this deep silence, deep stillness. Know that you are safe in this physical universe. There's a mission, there's a purpose for you. At this moment, you can say to yourself also that I'm going to live in this body and complete the life's purpose and mission. I'm going to live, participate in this life fully as conscious being, Know that you are the master of your own life. You have the spiritual autonomy. You are the decision maker of your life. Everything about your life is sculpted, shaped by you, your own self. Another 2 more minutes, friends, 2 more minutes. One more minute, dear friends. Just pay attention to all those insights that you can gain. 30 seconds more. Okay, my dear friends, whenever you are ready, placing your hands on your eyes with these beautiful insights, you can slowly return to the waking consciousness. Slowly and slowly, you can come out of this meditative state. Come back to your waking state. Welcome back, my dear friends. With a beautiful smile, you can open your eyes. That's wonderful. Today, we really had a beautiful interaction, dear friends. I'm happy about it. To meet all of you through using this internet technology, I express my deep gratitude. Maybe one or two questions we can take, which are already expressed in the through the comment box. So one question I want to pick up here is, yeah, I think Suchi Goyal ji, who asked us about if we still have some karmic baggage, but we don't have want to reincarnate on earth, is it possible? Everything is possible. For example, you joined in a particular school, you decide, you say to your teacher, your principal, that I don't like this school, I don't like learning process, I'm not enjoying it, I want to stay at home. And your headmaster respects your choice. Your principal asks you to follow your heart and you will stay at home. But how long? Afterwards, you feel like continuing, completing whatever is incomplete. So, dear friends, in terms of the earthly incarnations, the karmic baggage is nothing but karmic lessons, lessons to be learned. The baggage will be minimized through learning process. Many have these misconceptions that, oh, I need to take 100 incarnations, 100 lifetimes to lessen this karmic baggage. It's not so. Just if you acquire the wisdom of the soul, if you awaken your own consciousness, it's just one blow, the sword which cuts through all these karmic strings. But know that it is possible, and you may stay for some time and maybe thousands of years, but many choose to come back again to complete that. In any incompletion, it's like a backlogs. Nobody wants to have backlogs in their life. They want to complete it. Thank you, Suchi Goyalji. And one more I want to share here. Parul Gupta. Sir, we also want to experience. Can we have practical sessions with you? Okay, I already conducted this session for you. This is the practical session, which you can attempt again to about witnessing yourself from outside the body, um, into deep meditation, going into deep meditation practice. That's really very good. Vijayashree Kondaveti, she's asking a question here. Can you explain more about causal body experiences, causal world experiences? Know that in our seven bodies, causal body is a higher vibratory body beyond the astral body. So in that causal body, people have much more access to the higher dimensions which are existing through the causal body, and they have much more flexibility, and also they're like beyond all the limitations that we experience in the three-dimensional reality. We can say that in these higher dimensional states, people access Akashic records of not only personal Akashic records of even the entire humanity. Just like Nostradamus, who could access all those Akashic records, or Veera Brahmendra Swami. In the causal body, which is fully awakened, we can access that, because it's the causal body which is the storehouse of all the records, knowledge that we have gained through our own personal experiences across lifetimes, or the knowledge which is collectively gained by our Mother Earth, all the people, all the beings on the Mother Earth. Thank you for this question, Vijayashree Kondaveti Garu. So, dear friends, now we are coming to the end. I think there are many, all of you, many questions, but I think mostly they are answered. You can check our website. So Anil Balotia ji asking this question now, that which movies are recommended. I showed the slide that one movie, What Dreams May Come, and second movie, Astral City. There are many such movies also there. These two I highly recommend. So thank you, dear friends, for joining me today. So any questions that you have, you can visit our website. In our website, you can access all that information. So the email which is being scrolling now, you can access the information. And also, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and to get more details, more information. So our website is qluglobal.org. info@global.org is the email. You can access us. So thank you for joining me for this session, dear friends. Thank you so much. And we're going to meet again tomorrow in Telugu language. And we continue like this. Our team of many Sangamaitriyas, Acharyas, going to join with me to share. So we continue this session because till 30th we have this lockdown. So we'll utilize this time to nurture ourselves, to learn more. Thank you. Thank you all. I'm going to now sign off. Wish you great meditation, great spiritual progress. Thank you.